Start trading today at pucatrade.com.
Well, hello and welcome back to the semifinals of the Vintage Super League. We just saw Ifro defeating LSV in a really exciting match where LSV managed to get a Mr. Grimoire into play, go inside a laboratory and hide there, but eventually some vapors were involved, maybe a chain or two, and Ifro was able to tendrils out LSV despite all the effort that fish put in.
Yeah, Luis went fishing for victory with this great deck choice, but unfortunately did not come up with the W.
No, it was just running on vapors by the end. So I love Mr. Grimoire. In 2008, I made a deck called Meditate Remora, built around Meditate and Mr. Grimoire, and the deck could never beat a creature, of course, but they didn't print good creatures back then, so that's okay. You know, you got to the occasional Lord of the Pit and you're all set. But even today, I actually play that deck in a daily, and it's actually really good against Storm. It's just, you know, it has issues with cards like Mentor.
Yeah,
So let's tune in.
Mentor and Lodestone Golem can be pretty tough.
Even better than Lord of the Pit. That's right. Well, let's see what the competitors have chosen for their second decks.
Yeah. Oh my! So it looks like we have Vaultcast versus Delver.
So right now I see Ifro's on a burn deck. As far as I can tell, he's got a red creature and some lightning bolts.
Yeah, it's certainly it's a pretty hot opening hand. Unfortunately, well, I would say unfortunately he doesn't have enough gas to actually cast things. But if he's not anywhere close to gas, then he's likely to not get burned, and we'll be able to see him playing VSL for a much longer time as opposed to, if he were. But
oh, then we see the rest of Ifro's hand, and most poignantly, it features a mental misstep. What's really neat here is it looks like LSV can actually bait with an ancestral, and should that get mental misstepped, you can just continue playing the important spell, right?
Oh yeah, right. Baiting with ancestral is unfortunate, but fortunate in the same time that since he gets to actually play a one drop that is desirable to counter.
Yep.
And
no, I won't. Ifro feel foolish wasting that mental misstep on unimportant cards like Ancestral.
Yeah.
On the bright side, this is not a deterministic win for LSV.
Yeah. He still has the mana crypt to deal with.
He does. It looks like while Ifro had the plan to deal 3 damage to LSV, LSV also had the same plan.
Yeah. Maybe Luis wants to both win and lose the game. Since he can take all of the turns and lose to his mana crypt, he's going to decide his own fate.
Yeah, that's true. He lost the first slip, which means that he could theoretically die before he gets up to being able to use Library. So that's some card advantage for Ifro.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how... Oh, there we go. Well, I guess it's not interesting at all.
I guess that happened. So
yeah.
You'll note that he can play...
Opal so he can cast Tezzeret. Tezzeret's going to untap Time Vault along with something else. And pretty soon an angry army of 5/5s is going to come across the battlefield.
That's right. Sometimes you have to beat someone to death with your Time Vault, even though it doesn't untap the next turn.
Yeah. So, if you're on Luis's side, what will you expect Ifro to be bringing in for this matchup? I would say normally Ingot Chewers, but they agreed on no workshop, so...
Yeah, I think this is a great call by LSV in their Gentleman's Agreement match. LSV has Notion Thief cards. That card's fantastic. I remember one time at one of Calvin's Vintage tournaments, I was playing against Matt Murray, and he was, of course, on Human Storm. I thought I was in good shape. I think he had 2 cards left in hand, and I think I was going to win on my next turn, but On the end step, Matt Murray cast Notion Thief on tap right into Wheel of Fortune and drew 14 cards. I lost my hand in the process. And he went on to win the belt, as it were.
Yeah, I played against some similar cards. It involved Time Twister and Plagiarize. This is a little bit earlier, but to the same effect. It was
Yes.
not a fun feeling, and I can only imagine that you were feeling something similar around that point.
No, no. I mean, at least with Vault Key, you get to keep the dignity of having cards in your hand.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we can see that Eric is on the play
Oh.
game one, or this game rather.
Eric's hand here looks really interesting. It looks like he has a quick threat, and not one but two counters.
Yeah, and a second Delver and a Gush, so he should be able to apply some pressure pretty effectively. Although Luis does have a Pyroblast, but he cannot cast that.
So I think that the value of misdirection certainly goes up in this style of match, right? Where you have a gentleman's agreement not to go around tapping lands to do really horrible things to your opponent, like make 3 workshop mana or make a million zombies.
Oh yeah, but then again, you have just a bunch of Pyroblasts and that sort of thing. I would rather be on the Pyroblast side, I think.
I've never actually been a huge fan of misdirection. It's not just because it's dead in some matchups. I don't know. Now, Commandeer, there's a card.
Oh yeah, that card's hot.
That's what LSV needed last match.
I remember seeing a few Commandeer plays a long time ago when there was this vintage side event at Pro Tour Kyoto, which is when the Pro Tour was still going to Japan, and that was an interesting tournament because the style of play over there is just so much more different, and you get to play with all these cool gentlemen's decks. I mean, there are far few wastelands and Misha's workshops and Bazaar Baghdad's being played over there.
That sounds like a whole lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool that the Asian Vintage Championship gets to sort of continue that tradition.
Yeah, it'll be pretty great. It looks like Eric has transformed his Delver into an insectile aberration, so
Right.
that's going to be able to put the pressure on Luis pretty effectively.
It will. And so what do you think about that rules change where I think it's going to make Ratchet Bomb and Engineered Explosives quite a bit worse when they're no longer able to pop for 0 and blow up the flip side of a flip card.
I have not seen that.
It's actually pretty relevant for Vintage. Flip cards will have the converted mana cost of the face side of the card. So Delver, even when he flips into Insectile Aberration, will still have a converted mana cost of 1. I think what this does is it makes it much harder. Otherwise, it's kind of trivial to get rid of all these powerful flip cards, right? Because Ratchet Bomb just ratchets them away.
Yeah. We won't have to fear about anything, so we'll be able to play our Garrick Relentless without any worry at all.
Exactly. I mean,
you see, Luis has forced through a Tezzeret the Seeker, which is going to be pretty good since he's got a Voltaic key on the battlefield.
yeah, this is going to let him go infinite.
And there it is. Quick and easy game.
Well, a bunch of scientists got together, but sometimes Tezzeret.
Yeah.
And, there's misdirection sitting not very successfully in Ifro's hand.
Yeah. Misdirection used to be okay in the old Turbo Tezzeret list from way back then that had Thoughtseize and Force and Misdirection, but with the addition of Mental Misstep and Mind Break Trap and Flusterstorm, it just feels like they've gotten a lot worse just because it's competing with different slots that are a bit more effective.
No, I agree. I mean, I've started to put a Mind Break Trap into all of my blue decks. I think as a one-of, it'll steal some games, and I actually find that I can activate the trap card more often than I can get value out of Misdirection.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the match 3 is going to be starting at some point, and Randy is going to be coming back for a bit of commentating.
All right, cool. Well, that sounds good. Good talking web.
Yeah.